What are you gonna mix it all together no matter what? So maybe, but I thought that's okay if it's a place to start. So it's a starting point. Who knows? We will see. Or not. It may just sit there and die. You know? Hi, Christian.
How are you, Sheriff?
How are you?
Good, thanks.
Just happy to be here. As always.
Yes, that's right.
Happy to be here.
Oh, yeah.
It's like we got something going on with an IT stuff.
Are we good to go?
This is an AV issue, right?
We want to welcome everybody out to our commission meeting today. If you'd stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks again for being with us. Our first item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes. And commissioners, we have none on this one, right? Okay. We'll go ahead and go to number 2, our County Employee of the Month. Rose? They said to go ahead, so.
Daniel didn't want to do this with me, but I made him. So he said he didn't like to speak in front of in public. I said, well, get used to it. So it comes with the territory. Anyway, commissioners, this month, our employee of the month actually is department of the month, and it is our GIS department. And I'm going to just take a couple minutes and say some things, and then I'm going to turn the time over to Daniel because he nominated them. But I've had the privilege of working with all of them since, for 8 years now, and they are truly an amazing department. They go above and beyond what's called for their job responsibilities and duties within their department. There's not one thing that we don't ask them to do that they don't step up to the plate and help us. And they have their own workload, but they never ever indicate that it's a burden for them to go up above and beyond. And I truly appreciate them. And I've said this before because they've had employee recognitions just within the department itself, but people outside of Carbon County, out in the community, also take advantage of them. And I just hear wonderful comments about the GIS department, so I'm really happy that Daniel nominated them. And I'm gonna let him go ahead and say a few words. And
I think we're okay to step up to the mic and.
Yes.
So, come stand up there for the picture, come on.
I know I've told you all before, thanks a million for everything you've done. I mean, from the first time I took over, I didn't really know what GIS did until I worked with them out to the fairgrounds and we installed the sewer line. I couldn't believe the images that you had of the utilities that we were gonna cross. I mean, for the first time as a hole operator, I knew what I was looking for. It wasn't a search and destroy mission, And I thought, holy cow, and when I got my promotion, I thought, I wonder if they could help us with our stormwater drainage and our culverts. And I mean, these guys went through the whole entire county and got points on inlets and outlets of every culvert in the county. Plus, all the pictures of them, we know what the condition of the culverts are. They took it a step further. We know what all of our blade routes are for our road graders on the gravel roads, our mileage, estimated time. So each one of our operators know exactly where they're going. And then now we're on to chipping lists, and they went through and digitized all of our roads. We know exactly what our widths are, how many tons of oil it's going to take, how much chips it's going to take, so we can plan for our budgets for the following years. And they went through and put them on the schedule. So amazing job, guys. Thanks a bunch for everything.
I'd also like to introduce everyone for those, I mean, we all know them, but other people
Please.
do not. Ben Clement is our supervisor of GIS, Jordan Buchanan, and Melissa Laszlo. So again, thank you guys so much.
Thank you all.
You know, and I attended their training yesterday, and that's a wonderful new addition that we'll have as far as our ability to look up, and so thank you. It's a great thing. Our next item is a presentation of an award to Officer Ronnie Bogdan. We're going to turn the time to Sheriff Wood.
Thank you, Commissioners. I want to take the time to recognize Ronnie. Ronnie's been dedicated to our SWAT team since 2002, and he's chosen to step down from that position this year. Just give you a little history about his dedication to that team. He has 13 years on the SWAT team. He started in 2002 as a team member, became a team leader in 2008, and team commander in 2012, and he's been in the role as team member since 2014. The SWAT team is a huge sacrifice, not only to time, but to physical. He's had to maintain a above level physical fitness and risk. Every time our team's deployed, they put their lives in harm's way every time, each member. And Ronnie's just a fine example of a SWAT member, and he's still going to be involved with our SWAT through training, but he's going to move into a less risky role at this time. And I'd like to say it also about Ronnie. I've known him since he started in 92, right before I did at the sheriff's office, and I looked up to Ronnie because he had a little more time than I had, but he's always been one that steps up and helps out anywhere that he's needed. He's a great mentor, he's a great sergeant, and an awesome leader in our community, and we just wanted to recognize him for his service with a nice little plaque that he could hang on his wall and a gift card.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Thank you, Sheriff. Great people we get to work with here. Our next item is a presentation of the Utah Division of Wildlife Resources, the 2015 PILT payment, and we'll turn some time to Chris Wood.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm Chris Wood. I'm the regional supervisor for the Division of Wildlife for the southeastern part of the state. Our regional office covers Carbon and Emery and Grand and San Juan and parts of Wayne and Garfield counties. Today I just wanted to present to you our PILT payment in the amount of $6,451.07. In Carbon County, the Division of Wildlife Resources owns a little under 20,000 acres of land. We have three different properties. They're called Wildlife Management Areas, or WMAs. I just want to give you a brief update on those three pieces of land. One is our Lower Fish Creek property, just under 2,000 acres, and that's a piece of property just below the Schofield Dam. It consists of both Lower Fish Creek stream property and then upland property as well. And you've probably been aware the last year or two we've been working with the county and with Forestry, Fire, and Estate Lands and some other partners to develop a project on that piece of property that would both enhance wildlife values and habitat, but also protect your municipal watershed. We know there's concerns there, and we're working with our state forestry department to develop a project, and we hope it gets funded this year. So hopefully it'll be implemented this fall, and it'll consist of some logging and some thinning and some cutting and piling and some burning of those piles. Our other property is our Cold Spring Wildlife Management Area. It's on top of the Tavaputs. If you go to East Carbon and go on top of the mountain towards Bruin Point, it's on that plateau, and it's a little over 2,600 acres. We've had some prescribed fires up there the last few years. Each year we burn about 200 or 300 acres of both division land and adjacent private lands, and then those fires are good fires. They're prescribed fires. We light them ourselves and control them, and the purpose of the fire is to enhance wildlife habitat and enhance the watershed. aspen trees are good and healthy for forest communities, and without fires, the aspen communities get choked out by conifer trees and other pine trees. And so we want to maintain that healthy aspen community up there. And so we work with Forestry, Fire, and State Lands and the Forest Service and other prescribed fire experts in the state to implement those burns. And so that's been a big success the last few years. And then finally, our biggest piece of property in Carbon County is our Gordon Creek Wildlife Management Area, and that's just under 15,000 acres. People often know that area as Consumers. So if you take Consumers Road out west of town, most of that land out there past the railroad tracks is our Gordon Creek property. And so it's a great piece of property. People love to take Sunday drives out there or recreate, hike, wildlife watch, and of course, a lot of hunting goes out there. All three of these properties were acquired from monies from hunters and fishermen, and we manage them for public use, both for hunting and fishing and for recreation, and we're proud of our record with the county and with the our constituents here in Carbon County of managing these properties for their needs and for the people to use and enjoy. Some other issues I'll just touch on real briefly. People in Carbon County love mule deer and they love elk, and our elk herds are doing really well in this area, and we've been able to provide some great hunts, both bull elk and cow elk hunts the last few years. Our deer herds are doing well too. The last decade or so ago, they weren't doing so well, but we've done a lot of things to try to improve the deer herd. A lot of the reasons the deer herd might not be doing so well is beyond our control. Precipitation and prolonged drought affects the deer herd more than anything. But with our partners, we've been able to do a lot of habitat restoration work. With UDOT, we've been able to put up some highway fencing and highway underpasses. We have an aggressive predator control program throughout the state, and so all of these programs together have helped rebound our deer herd, and this last year our deer herd is the best it's been in a long, long time. We're grateful for the partners the county is with us. We work with you on a lot of different levels, from our community fishing ponds. We have 3 of those in this county. We have the Night Ideal Pond in Wellington, the Carbon County Pond at the fairgrounds, and of course Giatti Pond in Helper. And so we're grateful for the partnership and the resources the county's provided and helping maintain those as great family fisheries. And then of course all the other things that we do with the county. We are holding events for youth and for special needs people, and year round we're teaming up with the county and our partners to provide quality recreation programs for our citizens here in Carbon County, and so we're grateful for that. I can answer any questions you have, or I'll present you with this check.
Could you state the amount of that check again, Chris?
Yeah, it's $6,451.07.
Thank you, and we'll let you give that to Seth. He likes those kind of paper products, so thank you, Chris.
Thanks.
Our next item is to open sealed proposals for the operation and maintenance of the county motocross track. And Commissioners, you may or may not be aware, but we did not receive any proposals in regards to the timeline that was set by 5 o'clock yesterday. We did, however, have one that was encouraged to go ahead and bring that in. They had it here the first thing this morning. And so in order, as I've talked with Christian, in order for us to consider that or to accept that proposal at this time, we would need a formal motion, and then we can approve, we can open it and acknowledge that it is here and move forward from that point. So
I'd go ahead and motion that we acknowledge the bid.
I'll second that.
And then we have a motion and a second. Let me just comment, the reason that I was told that we could do that is because all other inquiries and any others that were interested had been given equal opportunity to do so. So with that, all in favor? Aye. So let's go ahead and acknowledge who the bid is from. Let's go ahead and open it, see if the basic things are there, and then we'll form an ad hoc committee that we can take a look at with this proposal.
Okay. This
That's irritating. Hang on.
You don't like the echo?
We don't want to hear you 3 times.
Try that. Better? Okay. If we didn't have technology to goof us up every now and then, we wouldn't have any fun. This is from Crossbones Motorsports, Tom Staniforth, Josh Staniforth, and Riker Staniforth. So.
Commissioners, technically, this was a request for proposals that went out as opposed to a bid, so it's not just, we're not looking just for a number, but for a number of criteria here.
And we'll have to take that and analyze that and then get back with everybody that's involved with it. And I don't know that we want to read everything in, but just if it looks complete, I think that we can move forward with acknowledging that.
Well, unless you want me to read 2 or 3 pages worth of stuff, you probably don't want me to read it in. So
Commissioners, I'd propose that one of you acknowledge and accept. I know we voted to go ahead and open it and accept it, but if we could move it forward for review at this point, and then we can go forward as far as any contracts or negotiations should we choose to go into it.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept the bid and move it forward to a ad hoc committee for review at a later date.
I'll second your motion to accept the bid and move it forward to an ad hoc committee for their decision.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And we'll get back with you just as soon as we can. It needs to be a quick review because spring will be here before we know it. So, okay, thank you. Is there anything else we need to cover on that, Christian?
I think that's good. Thank you.
Our next item is to open sealed bids for scrap metal removal from the landfill. Seth?
Okay. The first bid is from Stevenson Metal. They've provided their certificate of liability insurance, and the bid is for $50 per ton. The next bid is from J&B Recycling. See that one? Did I read that one correctly? And it says recycling proposal is as follows. JB Recycling will pay Carbon County 65% of the San Francisco Exchange, $50 per ton scrap yard weight. And the last one bid is from John M. Howa and Sons. And that bid, all scrap items excluding items suspected of containing CFCs will be purchased by Howe and Sons at a rate of 45%.
the current AMM San Francisco board price. Carbon County will be paid within 4 days of final removal. The current AMM San Francisco board price is $30 per gross ton. And it goes on to talk about items with CFC removal. I think it's $30 per ton. Those are the 3 bids that we received for scrap metal removal. And I don't see anything on haul rates, or one of them had the certificate of liability insurance included. I don't know if that was requested in the bid or not, but it probably is something that needs to be evaluated as we go through them. So,
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the bids and turn them over to Daniel for review. I'm not quite sure how to, or who is low bidder at this point because of the percentages per ton, but I'll just leave it at accepting the bids for and turn it over for review.
I'll second that motion.
Is there any further discussion on the matter?
clarification, is he going to bring it back to commission meeting for recommendation and final approval, or approve it?
What do you recommend there?
Because this was a request for proposal.
Okay.
This was a request for proposals as well, so
Okay.
probably ought to come back to you, I would think.
Okay. I'll amend my motion to have it come back before the commission in the next commission meeting.
And I'll second that amended motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Question. One of the people that bid on that, your insurance papers were did request that they were inside there. We have to deliver it to you guys before the paper, before you guys make a finalized decision on it.
I don't believe it requested, did it request insurance papers? I don't think it did, so.
No.
Make sure I can get them down here, or that not be a reason why we lose.
I don't think that's something that was, since it wasn't a necessary criteria, I don't think anybody will be eliminated for consideration because those weren't included. So I think if we decide we need those, we'll call you for them and ask you for those, but I don't think, since they weren't requested, you can't be disqualified for not providing those.
All right, so the next commission meeting will be 30 days from now.
No, it's the
February 17th.
17th of February.
What's your name, sir, so we can get that on the record?
Scott Fietchko,
Okay.
JV Recycling.
Great.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Our next item is to open sealed bids for the 2016 chip seal projects. Seth and Daniel.
Okay. We have one bid, and it is from Ute Light Corporation of Colville, Utah. There it is. Type A. Okay. So the bid amount is $32.45 for type A chip and $32.45 for type C chip. With the grand total being $197,945.
What was the grand total again?
$197,945, and this would be FOB, their plant in Colville.
Any other questions on that, commissioners? take a motion.
Make a motion to accept the bid and send it to Daniel for review. And with this one, I don't think it needs to come back. Just so long as everything's in place, he can go ahead and award the bid if he sees that everything's in place.
I agree.
That's my motion.
I'll second your motion to send it to Daniel for review and possible approval.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Our next item is a public hearing for the annual mental health substance use disorder treatment needs. We'll turn some time to Karen Dolman before we go into a public hearing.
Hi, thank you. This is Kara Cunningham. She's our clinic director in Carbon County. As we all know, mental health and substance abuse issues can be really costly to our communities. And I apologize for my voice, I have a cold. Funding treatment and prevention and services actually is cost avoidant. It saves us money in the long run. Our staff work really hard every day to keep people stable, to keep them functioning at their highest level, and to keep them away from more expensive things like psychiatric inpatient, jail, crime, and help them become taxpayers instead of tax users. So helping people function at their highest level. We know that treatment works, and with treatment, people who suffer from mental illness and addiction can get their lives back on track and get stable and go on to keep their families together and be productive members of our society. In 1972, the 3 counties, well, actually 4 counties, got together and formed an interlocal agreement and became the counties are, by statute, the local mental health and substance abuse authority. In the early 80s, San Juan County dropped off, and we kept the name Four Corners. We thought about changing our name to Three Corners, but it doesn't fit as well. So the 3 counties, Grand, Emery, and Carbon, worked together to provide mental health and substance abuse safety net services. So we're not in competition with the private sector, we are the safety nets. We provide 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week crisis services. We work closely with law enforcement and the hospital to help people that are suicidal, that are needing civil commitment, people that are in a substance abuse emergency, to help stabilize them and get them into treatment. In the past 6 months, center-wide in the 3 counties, we've served 1,442 people in treatment. In Carbon County, we've served 844 clients in the past 6 months. This is in mental health and substance abuse treatment. We've done 459 hours of assessment. Four Corners is funded by about 30 contracts and grants, and I have Jeannie's going to hand out a kind of infographic that describes how the money works. We, a little bit of county money brings down state money and brings down federal money, so the return on the dollar is really great. We've written several grants this past year to help provide free assessments for people under 100% of the federal poverty line. We have provided in Carbon County 482 hours of after hours crisis. We have a crisis line that we are always available on the phone and in person if need be. We have had 10,000 hours, over 10,000 hours of Clubhouse, and our Clubhouse is our program for our chronically mentally ill people. Four Corners employs 98 people in the Tri-County area. These are professionals, nurses, doctors, therapists, case managers, recovery coaches, and most of these jobs are good paying jobs with good benefits. So under Medicaid and state law, we're required to have a yearly hearing to hear feedback from any citizens that would like to give us feedback about mental health and substance abuse treatment. Then we use that input in our yearly plan. So this is the public hearing.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and open this public hearing then at 5:02, and would invite anyone that would like to make comment, if you would please come up to the microphone, state your name for the record, and then we'd be happy to have your comments.
My name's Dino Poulos. I was initially diagnosed with schizophrenia when I was 17, but I was able to work through the years until I got disabled. Then I got on Social Security disability and more medications. But with therapy and new medications, I'm able to work now being part of the Four Corners community. They have allowed me to work at the Four Corners Clinic, where I do janitorial work in the morning. Then I get to take part of my day at Four Corners New Heights Clubhouse, and I work there too. And they do really good for me. They see to it I have food, shelter, and clothing, cigarettes. But anyway, it's I used to be a hard worker. I still am a hard worker. I don't work as much as I used to, but they do me really good by giving me the opportunity to work at the clinic and to work at the clubhouse. And I'm glad I'm a part of something, and it's really helping me out.
Thank you very much.
My name is Angie Trescott, and I have a learning disability. I was diagnosed with depression, and when I go to the clubhouse, it makes me feel like I'm wanted. I've had a job at the college doing dishes and at Four Corners cleaning the bathrooms, and it just makes me feel good. They make sure that all my bills are paid. I have food, shelter, and like if I need something, I can go to my therapist or go there, and they see too that I have a place to live. They make sure all my bills and everything are paid before I spend money on whatever else. But it's helped me a lot. I've struggled with depression for a long, long time, so, but I really appreciate them, and they help me a lot, so.
Thank you.
My name's Siggy Petzold. When I was about 15 years old, I developed a pain pill addiction, which throughout my life progressed to more severe drugs, methamphetamine and heroin. So for about the last 10 years, I've been dealing with an addictive lifestyle. I found myself in really, really dark places that I could never find my way out. And when I came to Four Corners Community Behavioral Health, they were able to kind of shine a light into my life. They taught me mindfulness skills and chaos skills for when things in my life would get bad and how to deal with them instead of turning and running to drugs. When you're living in a drug life, everything's chaotic. It always gets worse. Nothing ever gets better. I've been in and out of the Carbon County Jail more than 18 times before I finally was able to get a direction in my life. I lived in my grandparents' basement, never had to be on my own or get anything for myself, and found myself with a needle in my arm every single day for the last 3 or 4 years. But after coming to Four Corners, they were able to help me set goals and learn how to deal with anger and stop blaming the world for my problems that I caused. And I'm now holding down a full-time job. I'm living on my own. I just bought myself a new car, and I'm able to function as a normal member of society. And with their help, I don't feel so outcasted and hated by the community. I feel like there are people out there that care. There's reason to have hope. And there was many times that I felt like taking my life was the only option I had. And they've always been there on call. Anytime that I needed to talk to somebody, I went for crisis meetings with them myself. But now I'm much stronger and doing much better in my life. I have goals set, I have a direction set, and I'm much more driven, thanks to everything that they've been able to do for me. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? We do appreciate your comments, and seeing no others coming forward, we'll go ahead and end our public hearing at 5:07. And I'm guessing you've got an approval or a form that we need to sign. Let's go ahead, Commissioners. We'll need a motion to approve that.
I'll make that motion.
Do we need to read this in, Christian?
What is it?
It's the Carbon County Local Authority Public Hearing for Citizen Input under Utah Code.
Just signifies you've held the public
That
hearing.
we've held the public hearing.
I don't think you need to read it in then.
All right. We have a motion from Commissioner Miller.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye. It's actually got my name on
Yeah, you go ahead. Thank you, Karen.
It's great to hear some of the success stories. Congratulations to all of you for the steps you've made.
Absolutely. Thank you. Our next item is the Huntington Eccles Canyon Byway Panel Design Completion Presentation. And it looks like we have Shalee Johansson and Roseanne Fillmore with us today. How are you, Roseanne?
I'm fine. How are you all?
Good, thank
To
you.
be with you tonight, we're kind of celebrating because this has been a long time coming, and we feel like we have a really great product. And the first thing I wanted to do was tell you all thank you. Carbon County has contributed a great deal to the Huntington Eccles Scenic Byway. In about 1998 or 99, the Forest Service came to Emory County and asked us if we would do a corridor management plan and application for a National Scenic Byway. And we did that, and it was designated in 2000. And at that point, Emory County knew that we couldn't do the marketing. We had a part-time travel director in Green River and really no capacity to do that. And we asked Carbon County if they would take that on, and they did. And were able to get Federal Highway Administration dollars to hire a part-time byway coordinator. And a few people filled that role for you, and eventually Jen Abrams did it quite ably, and we just really appreciate all she did. They have all the records of her projects, and it's like 5 boxes full. She did a great job for the Scenic Byway. So the Scenic Byway members are made up of members from Carbon, Emory, and Sanpete County, because the byway kind of wends its way through there. And county commissioners have weighed in on that, been part of that. City mayors have. We have a representative from Schofield City Council that sits on our committee. UDOT sits on the committee, and then we bring people in to do special things for us, like the Division of Wildlife Resources or State Forest. And so we have a good group, and they've worked hard on this for a long time, longer than you even know, because for a long time we'd do field trips and say, well, is this what we should interpret here, and is this what our theme should be? And through the years, we got to a place where we were able to write an interpretive plan and hire someone to actually design that. And so we have 36 panels designed. And I'm surprised that that's quite unheard of on scenic byways. I went to a national byway meeting in August, I think it was, to the Amish scenic byway. They don't have any interpretation. You just need to know you're in Amish country, because there are little carts and horses and stuff around. But we have a wonderful byway to interpret. And I think as Shalee shows you these slides, we've got them going hopefully quickly enough that we don't take a lot of your time. You'll see that they did a great job for us. The designer was Kimley Horn, and they enlarged what they did for us as we went along and saw that we had more to do. So they have finished their project, and our deliverables are a new Scenic Byway logo, which we've never had before, and fabrication-ready designs. We could send these to a fabricator, and they would have them fabricated just from these designs. So those are the deliverables, and we have those, and I'm going to see that each of the counties get them on a thumb drive in case for some reason the Forest Service wasn't involved any longer. The counties would have them. Our recreation crew has peeled poles and got them treated, and they're ready to make the pedestals that these signs will stand on, and we think we have the funding to have them fabricated. So we suspect by next year this time we will be through with this project. We'll have 19 stops and 36 signs. So thank you very much. We appreciate your help. We appreciate Seth. He's been wonderful to work with and help make this happen.
Thank you, Roseanne. Are you ready to show those then? And it's still warming.
Let me just start it back up. It's a really, really fast.
That's okay. We'll dim those lights.
What we're looking at here are the 36 panels that were designed. There are 16 stops along the Huntington and Nichols Canyon National Scenic Byway. As you can see up on the right top corner of each panel, there's a little symbol that showcases the amenities or the features in the particular area. These panels are not only educational, but they're colorful and interesting to look at, and they all feature the surrounding areas and the history and the landscape, the wildlife, and all of the things that are in the area that we have to showcase along the Energy Loop. I'd like to also thank you for running the funding through our office and allowing the design to happen. It was nothing less than an absolute blast being involved with the designers on this team. And we're very proud of the panels that we've produced. One of the important things to recognize that the Huntington-Nichols Byway brings to Carbon County is many people who are coming from Salt Lake City and traveling to the national parks or San Rafael, to Moab or Lake Powell. Carbon County is on the way, and when you actually do the entire loop, it takes about a day if you stop and look at all these panels, and so they naturally end up in Carbon County, primarily priced to eat, to buy gas, and to hopefully stay overnight after a wonderful day up and around this loop. So out of any of the counties that these particular panels are in, Carbon County has the highest economic impact and the most usage from the byway. In the next 60 days, the state of Utah will be hiring a new state byway coordinator, and we have been put to the front of the list to start working on some grants that are available to help promote this byway. And hopefully the new byway coordinator will have other programs available to help us maintain and also promote this wonderful area. This project, like I just mentioned, actually qualifies for many grants on many different levels. As Roseanne mentioned, there's many different organizations and people involved. So through those organizations, we qualify for quite a variety of funding, one of which is through the Utah Office of Tourism. And I will be able to, over the next year, apply for a matching grant to help market this byway. And that grant is awarded for 2017, which will be about the time that these panels have been fabricated and installed, and that's in the works now. So it looks like we're just finishing up with our last Stop 16 in Colton, and we hope that you've enjoyed taking a look at what we've done here. I am so proud of them, and I'm really excited to have them placed so that we can start sending our tourists there. But thank you, commissioners, and I appreciate your time. I'll also be leaving a hard copy of the panels for you if you decide to look at them later.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you, Shalay. Great project. Our last item is just our review and approval of department reports, and so we can take a motion to adjourn at this point in time.
So moved.
Second.
We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for being here today.